What is going on, everybody? This is episode 250. Yes, 250 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and it's just been a journey. I mean, when I first started this podcast or show, I had a couple of guys with me. Actually, I had one person, then it jumped over to two people, and now it's just myself. And it's just been a turn for a different format of what we used to do. We usually just straight talk about sports and gaming, but now with just me here, and I've been reporting on the news and everything around Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. It's pretty much been that. That's what it was. So, again, I guess it's congratulations, episode 250, and just hopefully I can do 250 more. So everybody who's been here from day one, thank you guys. People who are brand new, welcome. People who just started listening a few months ago, welcome. Thank you as well. And this is how it is over here. First and Frame Rate Show. I talk about Georgia Southern football, so talk about Atlanta Falcons football, and I try to tie everything into that situation as far as other teams, whatever the case may be. Over here on the YouTube side of things, if you like to listen over here, please give this a like on the screen. Hit that like button. Also, share this. Let people know what I'm doing over here. Also, if you're listening on the podcast side, I put this on the podcast, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. I don't think I've been on a SoundCloud or Google in a while. So mostly I'm just on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor at the moment. So if you don't mind, go over there, hit it with our 5-star rating, pop that in. I mean, that'd be awesome. You know, if you want to find me, just like I said, it'll pop right on up. If you just hit First and Frame Rates in the Google search, it'll be easy to find. Enough of all of that. Let's go ahead and get into this podcast. Today I want to talk about Georgia Southern versus Appalachian State. We go up to Boone, North Carolina, and it's going to be a tough task. Georgia Southern has not been playing well so far this year. I will say the last 2 games, and in some cases even the last 3. Well, I'll back that up. The last 4 games we actually played okay. On the Georgia State game, we ended up losing. We actually played pretty decent. The Coastal Carolina game just got out of hand late. We won the Texas State game, and the BYU game was for the most part, I felt like it was a winnable game. Shout out to the people that are over there. The BYU family, so much love and attention they gave to my post-game video. That was awesome. I did not expect that, but it was wonderful. I really thank you guys. Appalachian State comes into this game at 9-2, 6-1 in the conference, and Georgia Southern, we are at 3-8, 2-5 in the conference. It has not been the best season for us. This is the season finale for us. We had a lot of situations going on. I don't want to get too much into them. Just to give you a quick synopsis. Basically, what happened was we lost our head coach after the school bus incident. I'm pretty sure if you know anything about Georgia Southern, you know what that is. And we had interim head coach, and we had a lot of injuries prior to the the school bus incident. Lost some defensive players. J.D. King and Bradley Glenn were 2 guys that was going to be the face of the team, the leaders of the team. They both Bradley Glenn went down. J.D. King just never has been the same with that knee injury, and he has not been. He had limited playing time throughout the year. So our running game, even though it has picked up a good bit, it just has not been the same with J.D. King. The defense had a lot of next man up mentality. That's where the Eldrick Robinsons of the world, Seth Robinson of the world, even Najee Thompson did step up on defense until he went down because, they're replacing Derek Canteen. And it's really cool because Derek Canteen will be back as well as Najee Thompson. So it's going to be really interesting. I think Najee Thompson may be suited well on the defensive side. I mean, the kid is just a ball hawk. He does a phenomenal job. With all the injuries and all the situations that's going on, it just has not been our year. But we do have a chance to spoil Appalachian State's season and for them not to be in a conference championship game. That will be pretty cool. It's one of the things where, Georgia Southern Appalachian State, if you don't know anything about this rivalry, usually the team that is doing the best throughout the season, the other team ends up spoiling their plans. I mean, it's down goes number one. It's always been that way. And I mean, I can say it's always, but it's been like that in the FCS world. And even in the FBS, when Appalachian State was actually ranked, every time they were ranked, well, I can say every time, but there were at least 2 instances when they were ranked where Georgia Southern spoiled their party. Why not? They can't do it again this time. Well, right now, Appalachian State has been running on all cylinders. They've been doing phenomenal so far this year, averaging almost 37 points a game, allowing about 20 points a game. Last 5 games they played, they've scored 30 or more. And they basically been running roughshod on teams. The last 3 games, 48-14. They beat Southern Alabama 31-7, and they beat Troy 45-7. Now for us, we got blown out by South Alabama 41-14. I can't remember the Troy score, but we did I think we ended up losing that game too. And it's just going to be a tale of if we just step up to this rivalry and play our best. I mean, right now, we don't look the best. We're not playing Georgia Southern football, I'll be honest with you. And I think Georgia Southern football is going to be under a different identity starting next year, but that's another story for another day. We will get into that, with the new coaching change. But when you have guys like kind of just because I can't say his last name. I was so good at saying it last video, but I can't say it now. Sigelski, I think I said that right. He stepped up so well in the BYU game. I think he gives us a legitimate shot to play very well against Appalachian State. Yes, it's probably going to be cold up there. I mean, that's how it is around this time of the year. But I feel that with the quarterback play of Jaselski, I think I said that right. I think he does give us a dynamic that we never really had, and it's like a pure passer. I had people hit me up and say, "Hey, look, Connor looks like a college quarterback." That's my son in the background, so please, that's my son. He always up here with me. He looks like a college quarterback, and it's something that's been missing for Georgia Southern for a long time. Yes, we have Cam Ransom. Cam Ransom does have the shoulder injury. He may be back, so it's going to be a real interesting look to see if Connor gets his second start, or will we go with Cam Ransom? Will we go with both? Now, I want to remind you, if we go with Connor Sigelski, he's going to be a totally different type of quarterback. You basically have to do a different game plan around him. Even though he can run, but you can look at him and tell he's not one of those spread option RPO quarterbacks, which I think he can run RPO because he can throw the ball very well. I mean, he was very accurate against BYU. And even if that with Appalachian State, with their talented team, I still think we can be able to move the ball against them. Right now, they are allowing 214 yards passing per game, which kind of bodes well for Georgia Southern because we don't pass much. So we can probably sneak a couple passes in because we're an extremely run-heavy team. So maybe we can make that happen. Even if Cam Ransom's playing, we'll have a good situation where we can throw the ball. But it's going to really it's really going to boil down to the Georgia Southern defense. Georgia Southern defense is very suspect. We've been getting manhandled throughout this entire season, especially in the passing game. We've been giving up almost 294 yards passing throughout the season, rushing almost 160 yards rushing allowed. So a guy like Corey Sutton, which is the Appalachian State leading receiver, or you got a guy like Nate Noel, and also you got Chase Bryce. I mean, you got guys that are really good at moving the ball. So just like with the BYU game, we're going to probably have problems in the secondary. I think our front seven is going to be fine. They're going to have to do a lot to loosen up the running game because we do play well against the run, even if with the guys that we have. But they can easily loosen up the running. That's kind of like what BYU did at the end of the game. And also, when you look at the game against Coastal Carolina, I think it was Coastal Carolina or Georgia State, definitely with Georgia State, they loosened up the running game, and it was really, really difficult for us to stop the run after a while. So Georgia Southern has a chance to spoil, and this would be great if Georgia Southern could spoil Appalachian State dreams of winning another Sun Belt title. That will be phenomenal. But the way things going, I don't see it. I think Georgia Southern is probably going to lose probably lose pretty big because Appalachian State, just as much we don't like them, they don't like us. But the thing about it is it's more of a respectable type of rivalry. This is not the type of rivalry that we talk about like with Georgia State, where Georgia Southern, we just don't acknowledge them as a rivalry, which I already did a episode of that, which I feel like we absolutely should respect that team as a rival. Appalachian State gets our respect going all the way back to the 80s playing against this team. So I expect Appalachian State to win. I don't want to really say that like that, but knowing the type of team that we have and how it's been, Appalachian State is just a better foe. Now, what I want to see, I want Georgia Southern to kick these dudes in the teeth, and I want Georgia Southern to win this game and spoil what these guys are trying to do for the rest of the season. It'll just add more fuel to the rivalry and the history of it if we're able to. So we'll see how that plays out. That's pretty much my pregame. It's not much X's and O's you could talk about. It's just, App State hate. We just don't like the team. We respect what they do, and vice versa. Appalachian State, they respect the Georgia Southern Eagles, but, they want to kick us in the teeth as well. Georgia Southern is late to the party at adapting, and with Clay Helton going to be the coach next year, we're going to have a more comparable offense where, we still can get over Appalachian State with the option run, but I think we're going to have a more modern style offense. So it's going to be fun to see down the road, like next year, year after that, or whatever the case may be. But I will say right now, we are behind as far as, modernizing our offense. I think that's something that's been hindering us for the past 4 or 5 years. And we've been winning despite, but I think if we did get the talent, and I think we're going to start getting that. If we get the talent in here, I think we're going to start looking more of a bigger and, faster, stronger, and a more potent style offense. And I can't wait to see it. But for right now, it's going to be an interesting game. Rivalry games always be something different. I didn't think that BYU was going to be, I didn't think we were going to be as good as we were against BYU, so crazier things have happened, and we're going to see how this plays out. Appalachian State is hosting Georgia Southern for the season finale. It's going to be on the 27th of November. It's a 2:30 game, so it's kind of early. It's kind of weird that it's actually that early. I'd rather play them at night, but, like I said, that's another story for another day. So that's pretty much my take on that, and we'll see how it plays out. Now, let's jump over to the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of turmoil going over there when you have the Falcons going down the last 2 games, and in some cases don't even look like you're going down swinging. The Falcons are looking pretty bad right now. I don't know what the injury report looks like as of right now. It's still early in the week because it is Tuesday night as of me recording this. I don't know who's going to be playing when by game time, so I don't know what's going on with that. But let's talk about Arthur Smith. That's the one. That's the player. I mean, the player. That's the coach I want to talk about. Arthur Smith is the coach of Atlanta Falcons. He's very young. He's only 39 years old. I kind of slipped my mind that he was that young. We have a lot of time to get his fingerprints on this team. He only was able to draft a few. He only was able to do one draft class. Got a few free agents here that he tried to piece together. But I think by next year, the beginning of next year, the draft of next year, you're really going to start seeing what he can do. Some salary space should start opening up. Not only that, you're going to get more of your players in here. You already got 7 from the draft, and you're going to probably get like 7 or 8 more, hopefully. And you're going to get some more free agents here. Some people are going to be gone due to cap restraints and salary. So now by then we'll start seeing his fingerprints. A lot of people want to say, get rid of the coach, get rid of this. This was abysmal. Things don't get turned around in 1 year. I don't care who you are. Dan Quinn was here. It didn't get turned around in 1 year. We went to the Super Bowl the second year. Not saying that Arthur Smith would do that. Stranger things have happened, but I definitely don't see that. But what I do see is a guy that's going to, sorry about that, I dropped my phone. What you're going to see that is a lot of guys starting to take forward of his vision, what he wants to do as a coach, things that he want to get in order with this team. And it's just going to be a matter of time where you're going to start seeing more out of this team. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be surprised if everybody's on the table as far as who can be moved around, who can be shifted, who could be traded, who could be cut. So for all you guys who are sitting there looking at Matt Ryan side-eyed, even though the salary is what it is, I would not be surprised if they try to make a move on him. Not because I think that Matt Ryan sucks. It's just that Arthur Smith may want to start trying to put things into his perspective. Not saying he has anything against Matt Ryan, but it may come a time where he may look at it like, I may need to do something different. How likely does that happens? I don't think that's very likely. I think Matt Ryan's going to be here for at least the next, 2 more seasons, possibly. Maybe 1, but I see probably like 2 more seasons. And he does give us the best chance to win, despite all the craziness people will say. He gives us the best chance to win. I think the main thing about Matt Ryan, he just needs some targets. After Cordell Patterson went down, you saw exactly what happened. It was abysmal. And they just couldn't do anything with Cordell Patterson in. You saw what happened against the Saints. When he's out, you saw what happened with the Patriots. Now, I think that they may go more offensive. I don't know. Because the defense isn't bad per se as far as talent. They're bad based on execution. So you're going to have to get some guys in here that can execute. So even though these guys are talented, they just can't execute. So we may be moving some guys out, getting some new guys in. And hopefully Dean Pease and company, or if Dean Pease decides to stay for another year, you're going to start seeing some things change. I just don't think Arthur Smith's fingerprints is on this team yet. He's only doing what he has to work with. Shout out to Dan Quinn. This is what he left us. So I feel at the end of the day, I think Smith will be able to do something next year. Do I feel like this season is a wash? It's hard to say because, see, they're only 4-6. They could turn this around and possibly end up being 500 and possibly a playoff team still. So it's not like the season over. It's just that you're looking at a situation where this team is clearly underachieved and looked really, really bad the last 2 games. But just like how the NFL is, you could turn it right back around and look like a world beater in the next 2-3 games. That's just how it is. You just never know what may happen. Personally, I don't see them going very far. I want to still stick to my 9-8, but that means they're going to have to go 5-2 the rest of the way. And that's going to be hard to see them do that right now. I just did a video not too long ago about Calvin Ridley. Will he be returning? I'm not sure if he's going to be returning because his situation with mental health. And I got the gut feeling he's probably done for the season and may not come back to football. It just depends. You just don't know how this mental health stuff works. So, therefore, I'm really nervous about how that was going to play out. I just don't know. But truth be told, they're still in the running despite what's going on. Arthur Smith doesn't have his fingerprints all on this team just yet. So there's a lot to unpack still within the season, and we'll see how that plays out. I just feel that Arthur Smith just has enough time and he has enough acumen under his belt to get more than 1 year to do something. And obviously, I don't think he's going to get fired or anything. Even if they don't win the rest of their games, I don't think he's going to get fired. He's just going to have at least 2 seasons to do something. And I think, like I said earlier, once he get more pieces that he wants, get some salary cap space opened up, I think he'll be able to get some more of his players in here, guys that he wants, guys that he see that's on the draft board, guys that are in free agency that he could probably bring in. I think we'll see more of that, and I think that's what we're looking at the end of the day. So it's going to be a tall task. It's going to be a tough road. The Falcons, man, it's just been rough the last 2 weeks. Hopefully they'll turn it around, at least make it look respectable, and we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this, thank you, guys. Thank you once again for this episode. This episode 250. It's a short one because of the holidays. Didn't want to keep this going too much. A little bit shorter than usual. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Once again, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button. Share this. Let people know what I'm doing over here. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel and watch out for more of my content. And if you're on the I know, baby. I know. I'm going to take you downstairs. Give me 1 second. My son wants me to take him downstairs because he kind of know I'm almost done here. So that's my baby. I love him to death. If you're over here on the podcast side, iTunes, Spotify, and Anchor, give me a high rating. Give me a 5-star rating, no less than 4. Hopefully I did a good job. And let people know what I'm doing. Share this. Send it out to other people so people know what's going on with this podcast. Talking about Georgia Southern. We're talking about Atlanta Falcons and everything under umbrella. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate this. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see y'all on the next one. You guys be blessed. Peace.